Good morning, my dear pupils. How are you today? So, we start with an explanation about Unit 7, Renaissance and Reformation. Okay, we are already in the modern ages, and you remember from the last unit, we were still in the modern ages. They start with the fall down of the Byzantine Empire conquered by the Turks 1453, and then also the discovery of America 1492. And then we're going to talk about the Renaissance. Renaissance. What is this? Renaissance, here you see in this screen, Renaissance means rebirth, birth again. The moment when the Middle Ages are forgotten, these dark ages, they want to be forgotten. There's a change. There are many changes indeed. And we see the cultural and the philosophical movement called humanism takes place here. So the rebirth of the ancient ages, the recovery of the philosophy, of the science, of the knowledge based in the reason, in the use of the brain. That's the capacity of the humans we've got about thinking, and not about considering that everything is because of it's a punishment of God, or because everything has got a religious explanation. No, now we're going to talk about humanism, where the human is the center of everything. No more religion is going to be the center. So they want to forget the Middle Ages, Dark Ages past, and they are going to look back to the ancient ages, Plato, Aristotle, the scientific knowledge, yes? So, we continue with the next slide. Renaissance, the rebirth of a new time, the rebirth of a new age, the rebirth of the human capacities. So, they are not going to be atheistic, yes, they are going to continue to be Christians, yes, but they want to understand religion in a more intimate way, or or in a closer way, yes, so they're going to criticize the situation of the church. We will dedicate a chapter about it, about the reformation of the church. They want to change the situation of corruption when the bishops or archbishops, they reach their post by paying for it, for them, or when people pay for clearing their sins, yes? I will explain this later in another chapter, yes? So, all the situation of corruption will create the movement of the Reformation, trying to clean or to review the ideas of the church. It's not against the church, but it's against the corruption of the church. We will study this in the next chapter. That's only the introduction, yes, and general introduction for the unit. So then you see, we can go to the page 120, and here it said, what was humanism? Humanism, you see, the rebirth, the renaissance of the culture. It was originated in Italy. When we talk about art, in another chapter, I will explain why Italy and not any other country in Europe. Yes, well, now I explain it really now. So, Italy, in Italy, you remember the Roman civilization, they still had in the streets all the monuments, all the sculptures, so all the remainings of the ancient culture were there, present and very obviously for everyone. They were not forgotten, yes? So, but we go ahead. So what is humanism? Humanism is based in the culture and in philosophies and movement. Yes, based in the knowledge. Yes, here you see a change, a rebirth of the culture. A rebirth of the culture. Birth of what? Of the ancient culture. Yes, their ideal culture is no more the Middle Ages. They are trying to recover the culture, the knowledge, the philosophy, the science that the people in the ancient Greece and in the ancient Rome already had. You remember when we talk about the translators' school in the Spanish Christian kingdoms under Alfonso X Sabio? You remember that they were occupied in translating books from the ancient culture um, to Latin and to the current languages. So that is, they were here. You see, they were inspired in the ancient culture. Yes, and you see, religion. Religion. They are not going to be atheists, but they are going to try to explain every matter or every issue that happens. They're going to try to explain it not by a religious reason, but um, with the reason of the human, with the capability of the humans that we've got about thinking and thinking in a scientific way. So that's the reason, yes, and that's why the humans are going to be the center of everything. Yes, the center because we've got the capacity to think in a reasonable way, not to think or not to believe everything that the church says. Yes, so that's why science develops a lot in many different aspects. That's in biology, in anatomy, in all the matters you can imagine. So here, astronomy. You can remember in cartography, in you remember in the last unit the compass, the astrolabe, all these things. Yeah. So the scientific progress, and also one of the most important characteristics of the humanism is curiosity. Without curiosity, there's nothing. So I mean, trying to investigate, trying to discover things. Here you see the figure of Leonardo da Vinci. He was not only a painter, he was also an engineer. He studied everything that could be studied. He was super curious, and he tried to make experiments with everything. Here you see a project trying to fly, or here you see weapons. He was well paid by the lord that governed in the city of Milano. Yes, the family Sforza for developing weapons. Yes, very imaginative engineering weapons. And he also studied anatomy by studying, yes, he studied anatomy and he studied the movement of the water. He studied everything that could be studied. He was super curious. Yes, being curious is the only way you to learn whatever, anything. Yes, here in the next diagram, you see how the modern ages, Renaissance, humanism, they look back to the classic culture, to the ancient culture, the Greeks and the Romans, most the Greeks, yes. But in Italy, the heritage of the Romans was very obviously in the streets. They still had the Roman ancient sculptures, and the Colosseum was still there. So um, they were not seeing the old Middle Ages churches and cathedrals. They still had a very important reference in their streets about the ancient ages and that knowledge. Yes, and here you see they change. Here, modern age at the bottom of the design, pérdida del monopolio cultural de la iglesia. So now the capacity of the humans about thinking reasonably is the most important, and thinking, so trying to recover all the knowledge from Plato, Aristotle about politics, about the government, about every matter. Yes, astronomy, also arts. We will dedicate many chapters to the Renaissance art. They are based in the ancient age art. Okay, we go ahead. Here we've got some humanists. You've got Erasmus of Rotterdam, Thomas More, Juan Luis Vives, yes, Juan Luis Vives, like the editorial of the books, yes, he investigated a lot. And you will also investigate a little bit about some of them. Well, humanism, how humanism could reach Europe. These ideas that start in Italy, the center of the Renaissance, not only for art, also for the ideas. Yes, all these ideas could be spread thanks to the printing, thanks to the printing press. You remember that in the Middle Ages, the monks were in that hard work. They copied the manuscripts, they copied the Bibles, and it could took them 1 year copying letter by letter in the scriptoria, in the monasteries, all these books. But now, thanks to the Gutenberg, this German inventor, the printing press, the books could be written very, very quickly. Many books at the same time. Yeah, so it permitted culture to reach many more people. People could buy books. You remember, I already told this to you in class. People could buy books in the fair trades in Europe that were taking place at the end of the Middle Ages and then at the beginning of the Renaissance, yes? And also the academies and the universities. Academies were actually not like schools, but were places where wise people meet, or people with studies and knowledge about different subjects, about different matters. They meet, and then there they share knowledge. They had yes, they investigate, and yes, they investigate, and normally they meet not in a particular space, but in the palace of the bourgeoisie. Next day we will study a little bit about Lorenzo de' Medici, incredible figure in the Renaissance history. Well, you see here Johannes Gutenberg, the inventor of the printing press. Super good invention. Yes, we can compare maybe or think about the consequences of the print press. Could be compared with in the spread of the culture, as can be compared with the development of internet. Yes, could be. Yes. So here you see, you can read a little bit about the printing press process. Yes. And well, now we go with the scientific advances, some examples of them. You see, till this moment in the Middle Ages, people thought that the Earth was in the center of the universe and all the planets moved or revolved around us. The center of God's creation, the Earth, the place where we humans live, yes, the center of everything. Of course, supported this idea by the church, yes. But Copernico, here, Copernico defended, like we already know, yes, that the Earth, the place of the humans, is not the center. So the Earth is not only moving, but it's not only the center, and it's moving around a sun, around something different. Yes, we humans are no more the center of everything. So that was a real shock in this moment. That was not admitted by the church, and the church persecuted Copernico. Yes, so that's the heliocentrism. Helios, the sun, centrism, the center. The sun is the center, and the other planets revolve around the sun. That's what we studied first year in secondary, but in that moment, that was something so strange that the church could not admit it, or did not want it to admit it. It was admitting that the center of the creation is not the earth or we as the humans. Yes, it's admitting something more than this, and church, of course, did not want it. Here you see more discoveries, of course. The activities you made about the discovery of America, they were not possible without the the invention of the astrolabe, the compass, all the things that you already saw, yes? Also, the known word is amplified. Well, now here you see Miguel Sabet, like our hospital, yes? He was very, very important because of his discoveries about the circulation of the blood, yes? About the pulmonary circulation of the blood. That was something unknown till this moment. That's the result of anatomy studies. And of course, many advances in cartography and new continent, yes, also in zoology, botany, in physics, in medicines, in astronomy, in all the aspects of the science, yes. Well, I hope my explanations were clear, and well, by now that's what we've got, okay. I hope you understand everything. I follow the order in the book anyway. So you can, if you want to listen it again, if you you can review in the book. And then, of course, after the explanation, you've got activities. So, my dear pupils, I hope you are doing well, you and your families are doing well, and see you in the next lesson. Thanks for being there, and well, I miss you all. Bye.